existentialism, as the term itself indicates, focuses on human existence, human condition. Okay, how does the human being exist? What is a human condition in this universe which is irrational and meaningless? Okay, so this meaninglessness of the world, meaninglessness of life is a central idea in existentialism. Now, existential writers or existential philosophers see the individual as a self-determining agent. The human being can decide for himself. He can make various choices and he creates meaning to his life through these choices. Okay. Now, a human being is not born with a certain kind of existence. A human being is not born with a certain kind of meaning to his life. He or she has to create meaning through his or her own choices, because the world is fundamentally irrational and meaningless. Only the individual can do something for himself or herself. So existence precedes essence. As I mentioned before, in postmodernism, the question of essence does not carry much value. Existence, ultimately the question is about your existence. How do you exist? What do you mean by, what do you mean when you say you exist in this meaningless world? So existential writers talked about what it means to be, to exist. And like I said, human beings cannot be understood through a priori categories. Okay, so pre-existing categories. There are no categories that exist before a human being comes to exist. So you have to understand that a human being does not have any meaning or value attributed by God or universe or any other external source. Only the human being can create a meaning for himself or herself through their actions and their choices. Now, till then, there was an emphasis given to rationality during the Enlightenment period. Now, because it is a part of the postmodern movement, existentialism said that human reason is not the prime force. Human reason is not always autonomous. It is not something that has that can assert itself, that can remain detached from human subjectivity. Human reason is subordinate to human passions, human feelings, and human anxiety. So human reason depends on and is decided by a lot of emotional factors, by a lot of subjective factors, such as the human anxiety about existence. So a drama, a theater of the absurd, and other forms of art which emerged as a result of the existential stream of thought, they focus on this anxiety, the anxiety of existence, which is also called the existential angst. Okay, so the anxiety or the fear of the people in the face of a meaningless existence in a chaotic world. The world is not ordered. The world is very much chaotic. It's characterized by meaninglessness and disorder. So how does the individual exist in this world? Because fundamentally, human existence is meaningless. How do you create meaning? So all this inform this idea of existential angst. Now, existentialism also engages with philosophical questions like, does God exist? Why is that inevitable? Now, is absolute freedom a possibility? So it also, existentialism being a predominantly philosophical stream of thought, it also focuses on whether questions that philosophy engages with, what is freedom? Is it possible to enjoy absolute freedom detached from all societal norms? Is there a God? And if there is a God, why does he or she do the things that he or she does? Okay, so these questions, these philosophical questions, were also engaged with by existential philosophers. Now, there was also the question of authenticity. Human beings can choose to live authentically. They can live with meaning. They can have an existence with a meaning, but no one gives this authenticity to human beings. No one gives this meaning to their existence. Then how is this meaning created? Only the human being can make some choices and create meanings of his or her own. There is no given meaning to their existence. Now, absurdity is a central feature in existential writings. Everything looks very weird. You might be familiar with the play Waiting for Godot and by Samuel Beckett. In this, there are two people who are waiting on the roadside. There's only a tree to be seen. They stand there, the road is dusty, and they're waiting for the person called Godo. He never comes. They keep on talking, these two characters keep on talking, then someone comes in a carriage and they talk to them also, and they are constantly say nothing happens, no one comes, no one goes. They're waiting for Godo and no one comes, no one goes. This line, no one comes, no one goes, this idea of no one, nothingness, this informs much of existential philosophy. Okay, so if you and then there's another play called The Chairs, which also shows absurdity. Both these plays, the Chairs and Waiting for Godot, both belong to the theater of the absurd, in that they depict the absurdity of human existence. Okay, so there is no purpose to your life. Two people are waiting for Godot for hours on end. The entire play being staged before you lasts 2 hours, 3 hours, but nothing happens except for these two people standing there. They meet two other people, but no one comes, no one goes. And there's a repetition of this phrase, no one comes, no one goes. Okay. So in the Chairs also, there's a couple who want to die. Okay, the man wants to convey a certain message to the world, and then he wants to commit suicide. Okay, so we see that they open the door and they have visitors, but the audience cannot see the visitors. Only the old man and the woman on the stage can see the visitors. So it all looks crazy to the audience. And the old man at the end, he says, yes, I have conveyed my message to my messenger. He will tell you everything. And then the old man and woman jump into the water and they die. And we are waiting. Okay, the audience is waiting for this messenger to convey the message. And suddenly we realize that this so-called messenger cannot hear, he cannot speak. So whatever the old man told him, we don't know what the old man told him. So whatever the old man told him, he did not hear. And even if he heard, he cannot articulate it. So the entire play, which goes on for almost 30 pages, it is rendered meaningless by this one realization that the man is mute and deaf. So this is an absurd situation. And then he writes some gibberish on the board, on the wall. No one understands anything. So at the end of these plays, we realize that there is a sort of meaninglessness. It all looks very strange and absurd. Okay, so human existence itself remains absurd. So this is a feature of the theater of the absurd, which is rooted in existential philosophy. And in postmodernism, they say that no word has a meaning in itself. If you say cat, C-A-T, does not have a meaning in itself. It refers to an object in the outside world because it is different from a dog or a mouse or a bottle. Okay, so like this, existentialism says that the only meaning is a meaning that we give to things. The only meaning is the meaning that we attribute to the world. God does not give any meaning to the world, or any other source does not give a meaning to the world. It's our duty to give meaning to the world if we want to exist. And how do we give meaning? Through our choices. Now, human existence is always doomed to destroy itself. Okay, so there's a way in which everything is constantly being destroyed. Human existence is constantly being destroyed. The man in the play, The Chairs, that I mentioned before, the man dies thinking that the messenger will convey the message, but the messenger is deaf and mute. So there's an absolute destruction happening here. The entire message is lost. Now, existentialism also talks about the unfairness of the world, like where bad things might happen to good people and vice versa. Okay, so the subject, there's a form of nihilism where everything seems very meaningless. That everything looks so meaningless that you think, what's the point of living? Let me die. Okay, so the nihilism is an extreme aspect of existentialism, and nothingness is a key term in existential philosophy. Okay, there is no one comes, no one goes. We are nothing, I am nothing. Okay, this concept of lack of meaning, the lack of being a nothing, informs much of existential philosophy. Now, existentialism also says that things that we consider as facts, facticity, like my age, I am X years old. Okay, it's a fact. I belong to this race. It's a fact. We believe all these to be facts. Okay, but these are already there in me. Okay, these are not something that I create. These are all in me. But how is my existence related to these facts? My existence depends upon how I see these facts. Yes, I am 50 years old. Yes, I am an Indian. Okay, yes, I belong to this religion. Yes, these are all facts. These are all facts about me. But how do I see my religion? How do I see my age? What is my perception towards my nationality? All these give a meaning to my life. Okay, it's not like these are meanings in themselves. Meanings are created when I try to link my existence with these facts. Okay, transcendence is the ability to make choices and the ability to take a stance towards one's facticity. The moment I am able to look at my age, look at my nationality, and look at my family and my past actions, and I form an attitude about them, and I form an idea about them, and I form a response to them, then I transcend all these facts. Then I go beyond all these facts and I begin to exist in some blurry way. Now, another central term in existentialism is alienation. Okay, the individual is alienated from the world and from himself or herself. Okay, he feels a certain sense of disappointment, disillusionment. He cannot associate with the world. He or she feels very alienated. That is what happens in the movie, in the play, The Chairs. The old man and the woman are on the are at the later phase of their lives, and they are very disappointed with their lives. They are very disappointed with the world. They have seen unfairness happening. The man has not been able to achieve anything in life. The woman has not been able to be happy in life. Okay, so they feel very alienated from the world. Now, existentialism is a little controversial. In the existentialism and postmodernism are controversial in that there's an issue of ethics. If you say there is no truth, there is no meaning, everything is constructed, then there's a problem there. Because I can kill someone and say, no, this is my value system. This is my way of doing something right. I find that this is right. So does that give me the license to kill someone? So the moment you say value systems, meaning all these are socially constructed, you are also saying, that, see, I can choose to kill someone. It is my way of doing right. Okay, so there's an issue of ethics centered on postmodernism and existentialism. So Nietzsche, Kierkegaard, and Heidegger, Sartre, Camus, Kafka, these are names you might be familiar with, and Jose Ortega y Gasset, Nicola Abagnano. So all these people are focused on existentialism. These are mainly philosophers. Okay, if you look at theater of the absurd, you can look at, you can see which are the representative writings. Some instances are the Trial and the Metamorphosis by Kafka. Okay, these belong to the existential stream of thought. For instance, a person is turned into a cockroach. Okay, so it's a kind of mockery on human existence. It's a kind of mockery on the meaning of human existence. Okay, then the Plague by Camus. The Brave New World, On the Road, Waiting for Godot, and of course The Chairs, again by Samuel Beckett.